Can everybody hear me all right? Is it transmitting? Okay, fine. So again, I want to thank you all. Maybe we can turn this, or either move this, because right now I'm pointing this way. So if others, everyone can move. Yes, fine. So I can talk. I want to be able to talk to you, not just Srila Prabhupada, okay? So as I was just mentioning to Madhupati Prabhuji, it's a great pleasure and a great privilege to be here. I'm very, very happy that I can share with you the wonderful teachings of Srila Prabhupada. Most of you know what I'm going to talk about, but the way we really begin to apply it is by hearing it again and again and again. The more you hear it, the more it becomes a part of your mental and spiritual and physical nature. So these things, thank you, Prabhuji. These things, they don't come easily. When we come to the material world, our desire is to enjoy, to own things, to make everybody our friend. But this is not where the real happiness comes. It comes really from serving Krishna and giving him pleasure, recognizing that he's the owner of everything, and further recognizing that he is the supreme friend, and that if you have him as your friend, then you don't need anyone, actually. But in effect, if Krishna is your friend, everyone becomes your friend, because he is in everyone, you see. So that is the main point. So without any further ado, again, my thanks to you for coming. And I'm not concerned about how many people. Even if 2 people, I've given classes to 2 people, and I'm very happy. My concern is receptivity. Persons are sincere, they're eager, they're serious, they want to learn more, and they want to develop love of Godhead, and they want to go back to Godhead. That is my only business. And if I can somehow advance that even 1 fraction of an inch today over yesterday, then my mission is successful today. Okay? That is the most important thing, that we don't just collect a lot of information, but that we collect it in our heart and pray to Krishna that we can, yes, all please offer obeisances. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Te Namane Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pacharane Vishesha Shunyavadi Pastyade Shatarane. They're closing the curtain now? Yeah? Okay. So we will begin the Jaya Radha Madhava prayers, usually as we normally have. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amala Bhakta Swami, and I was initiated into the sannyas order by His Holiness Radhanath Swami a little more than a year ago. And I feel very fortunate to have received his help, and I get his guidance whenever he comes to Los Angeles. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Vajjana Ranjana Thoda Yasoda Nandana Vajjana Ranjana Yamuna Vanachari Yamuna Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Yasoda Nandana Vajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Yasoda Nandana Vajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajakaacharya Astaturasta Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Gudi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, and all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Vishnu Badaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Bhaktivedanta Swami Te Namane Namaste Shesha Sunyavadi Bhajane. Before we proceed, is it possible for me to have a pillow under in the back over here? Something I can sit on to get me up a little higher here. Anything. Otherwise, I didn't want to sit on these because they're not meant for that. They're meant for this. Yeah, because otherwise my back is bending like this. But if I'm up high, and I won't have any problem like that. So we will. No, this is fine. I just need something to lift me up. Even the chair. You got something there? Something like that? Okay, let's try that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's better. Definitely better. Yeah. It has to be below, otherwise I can't see anybody. The microphone blocks my vision. Yeah, like this is fine. Yeah. Okay. So we can begin now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I will be reading and speaking from the Bhagavatam. It is the second. Just want to get this picture out. Krishna. Yeah. No. Okay. As I said, the second canto, second chapter, 8th verse. Can put these things. Do we have a board, or some of you have a board? Oh, wonderful! That's great, great. Yeah, we have something like that, but yours is nicer than ours. We're in business for 44 years, and we still don't have one like that. But we have a nice one, though. It is smaller. Will this be is this going to go on YouTube? It will go. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I will begin on the verse. Okay, this is perfect. No. Kechit svade hantara hridai. Since my vision is not very good here. Kechit svade hantara hridaya vakashe. Kechit svade hantara hridaya vakashe. Padeshamatram purusham vasantam. Padeshamatram purusham vasantam. Chaturbhujam Kanjarathanga Sangha. Chaturbhujam Kanjarathanga Sangha. Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. Kechit Svadehantaradaya Vagakshay. Pradeshamatram Purusham Vasantam. Chaturbhujam Kanjarathanga Shankha. Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. Kechit Svadehantaradaya. Kechit Svadehantaradaya. Pradeshamatram Purusham Vasantam. Chaturbhujam Kanjarathanga Shankha. Smaranti. Pradeshamatram Purusham Vasantam. Chaturbhujam Kanjarathanga Shankha. Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. Anyone else would like to do? Okay, the word synonyms. Kechit others. Svadeha antaha, within the body. Hridaya avakashe, in the region of the heart. Pradesha matram, measuring only 8 inches. Purusham, the personality of Godhead. The Vasantam, residing. Chatur Bhujam, with 4 hands. Kanja, lotus. Rata, anga, the wheel of a chariot. Shankha, conch shell. Gada, dharam, and with a club in the hand. Dharanaya, conceiving in that way. Smaranti, do meditate upon him. So we now go to the translation. Others, not yet, I'll just do one. Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club, respectively. Please repeat. Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club, respectively. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki. The all-pervading personality of Godhead resides as Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. The measurement of the localized personality of Godhead is estimated to expand from the ring finger to the end of the thumb, more or less 8 inches. Of course, it would differ in different individuals. Some individuals are very tall, 7 feet, maybe more length for him, and those who are shorter, 5 feet, the difference will be slightly different. And similarly, in other creatures, it will vary according to the size of the creature, you see, because the super soul, he has to fit into the heart area. So if he remains 8 inches and the creature is only 2 inches, then there's going to be a discrepancy there. So he has to shrink accordingly and enlarge accordingly, which is no difficulty for the Supreme Lord. Again, the all-pervading personality of Godhead resides as Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. The measurement of the localized personality of Godhead is estimated to expand from the ring finger to the end of the thumb, more or less 8 inches. The form of the Lord, described in this verse with distribution of different symbols, beginning from the lower right hand up and down to the lower left hand with lotus, wheel of a chariot, conch shell, and club, respectively, is called Janardhan, or the plenary portion of the Lord who controls the general mass. There are many other forms of the Lord with varied situations of the symbols of lotus, conch shell, etc., and they are differently known as Purushottama, Achyuta, Narasingha, Trivikram, Rishikesh, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Pradumna, Sankarshan, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodar, Janardhan, Narayan, Hari, Padmabha, Padmanabha, Vamana, Madhusudana, Govinda, Krishna, Vishnumurti, Arhoksaja, and Upendra. So tell me, just to be sure everybody's awake, who is Upendra? Vamana. But who is Vamana? What did he do? What is his main contribution? What did he have to? What was his main action, which was so unique and so different and so novel and marvelous? Huh? A little louder. I'm not hearing. No, what did he do? What? Yeah, he took 3 steps. Right. In the first step, he covered the earth. The second step, he covered. Yes, exactly. And what happened? What happened with his toe? What did that do? His. Yes, exactly. He kicked a hole in it, which is a blessing to all of us, because the Ganga is the water which comes from the body, actually, or the foot in particular, of Lord Vishnu. So we are very fortunate that he kicked that hole, because we now can go for bathing and get the direct mercy of God's own sweat, his own perspiration on our body. So it's good to know these facts, so that when we enter the Ganga, we're thinking, yes, I'm touching Lord Vishnu. This is coming from him, and I'm becoming so spiritualized. So it should not be thought of as like when you put on the water, the faucet, just any water coming out. It is very special, very unique, very highly charged, spiritualized blessing. Okay? So, continuing, please. Yes. There are many other forms of the Lord with varied situations of the symbols. I've just said that. As we know, there are different names of Vishnu. And every name, there's a different variation of his holding of the lotus, the club, and the chakra, and the, what's the last one? Then the lotus. So in one hand you'll have this, and another and this, and then there is variations. The lotus will be in this hand, and the club will be here, and in each name there will be a different variation. And that's how a person will remember that this is Lord Janardhan, and this is Lord Narasimhadev, this is Lord Vamanadev. So a different arrangement of the symbols of him. It doesn't mean anything in particular, except that that's how you remember him, as differentiated from a different manifestation of Lord Vishnu. And if you go into the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a whole section in which Lord Chaitanya, he gave every one of them. And there's so many. But of course, Lord Chaitanya is God, and you can see the memory that he has. He knows every different one, and he named every different Vishnu, and he named the different combinations of where the club was, where the lotus was, where the disc is. So, moving ahead. Yes, so as I was mentioning, these 24 forms of the localized personality of Godhead are worshipped in different parts of the planetary system. And in each system, there is an incarnation of the Lord having a different Vaikuntha, having a different Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual sky, which is called the Paravyoma. There are many other hundreds and scores of different forms of the Lord, and each and every one of them has a particular planet in the spiritual sky, of which the material sky is only a fragmental, small offshoot. The Lord exists as Purusha. What does Purusha mean? Means the what? Supreme what? Enjoyer, yes. Also it means controller as well. Supreme controller, supreme enjoyer. Actually, all of us in this material world are trying to imitate and be the controllers and be the enjoyers. And that is our big mishap, which causes us all of our miseries. So, continuing on. The Lord exists as Purusha, or the male enjoyer, although there is no comparing him to any male form in the material world. Actually, we are all considered the Prakriti. Prakriti is the enjoyed, but instead we're trying to be enjoyers. So we should really be trying to give enjoyment to the supreme enjoyer. That is our real duty. But if we try to usurp, take control of his functions, then we commit offense. And the offense results in different kinds of miseries and also pleasures. Pleasures of a material nature, not spiritual. But all such forms are Advaita, none different from one another, and each of them is eternally young. The young Lord with 4 hands is nicely decorated as described below. So in the next verses we will have all the descriptions of the different the Vishnu forms. But now I would like to spend a few moments on discussing the super soul, because that's really what is being talked about now, the super soul. Everything is okay, Paul? Okay, fine, thank you. So the super soul is being, or Paramatma. So Paramatma is one of the important incarnations, but first there was Karanadakashayi Vishnu, who is lying in the Karana ocean. Karana ocean is also known as the Viraja ocean. It is the junction, or the breaking point, off point, between the spiritual world and the material world. So there is this river or ocean, whatever you want to call it, and the Lord is lying in that ocean, and that ocean is made up of his perspiration. Okay? So, when there is nothing in the universe, no planets, no people, and it is time to manifest universes, so the Lord, he's lying on his bed called Sheshanaga, and from his breathing, he breathes out, and he breathes out little seed-like, or like bubbles, so to speak, and he breathes out these universes. They come out from his breath, and they go out into the atmosphere. And not only do they come from his breath, but they come from the pores of his skin. So these little universes are going out, and they are manifested, they are made of the material energy. That is the Lord's material energy. The material energy consists of the 3 modes of material nature, and it also the pradhan. The pradhan is the most elementary form of matter that there is. If you continue to take something like wood, and then you reduce it, and you keep reducing it down to finally you have molecules, and you have atoms, electrons, and protons, and you keep reducing, finally you end up with pradhan. So the 3 modes of material nature cannot do anything unless they are activated. Just as, for example, a woman has the egg, you see, in the womb, but it cannot do anything unless it is animated or activated by a sperm. So the sperm activates the egg and starts as we might say in modern parlance, the ball rolling. It starts things going. In other words, once the sperm reaches the egg, unites with it, then a series of multiplications of cells begin to take place. First there are 2, then there are 4, and then there are 8, and 16, and 32, and the cells continue multiplying until you actually have the form of a human being in a very embryonic form. And then it continues to develop fingers and fingernails and all of these different things. But that, as I said, could not take place unless you have the animating force. Similarly, when the Lord, he glances upon all these different seed-like universes, millions, billions, and he glances at them, from his glance comes innumerable living entities like ourselves. And they're all sent to different universes. And when they enter the universe, it's like a womb. Like I just mentioned, the sperm enters the womb and activates the egg so that multiplication takes place. Same thing happens. It's very interesting how it happens in us, and the whole universe is doing exactly the same. So the glance carries the living entities, you, me, I, and they enter into those universes, and then once they enter the universe, then what happens is that they begin to activate the universe. So what does that mean? It means there are three modes, the three modes which are in a state of equilibrium, balance, inactivity. And the pradhan is inactive as well, nothing happening. But as soon as the living entity enters into the universe, it activates the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance, each of which has a different function. In the material universe, for example, ignorance is manifested by the stone, by the rock. It's hard. It just stays there. There's no activity. And then passion we see in the material universe as storms, wind, different types of activity that is going on. Earthquakes or windstorms, hurricanes. This is all passion. And then we have a mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, we have more like the sunshine and warmth and peaceful breezes and things of that sort. So therefore, the three modes, I'm just trying to give a physical example. There are other examples, not only the physical, but also there are mental and intellectual as well. We know that there are persons who are very bright, and they are permeated with sattva, goodness, and they think very fast, and they understand things, and they are full of a desire to want to do good and to try to help people. This is goodness. And then you have mode of passion, and in the case of a person mentally in passion, he's always very eager to do things, and generally the types of things that he wants to do is to do better than others. That is passion. In other words, you have one kind of car. Let us just say you have a Nissan, and this person he wants to get a better one, so he wants to get a Mercedes so that he can look more wealthy or more powerful or more applaudable when he drives down the street. Oh, successful, you know. And so the other person, if he's envious and he's in the mode of passion, then he will say, well, I have to do better than him. I'm going to get a Porsche. So he goes out and he saves up his money, gets a Porsche, and now he drives down the street with this big, you can pay obeisances, please. Yeah. Okay. So now he drives in this big, bright yellow Porsche down the street, and everybody is now saying, oh, look at this, how successful, how powerful, how wonderful. And nobody is now looking at the person who had the Mercedes. He's now become like a pauper. He's not considered of any importance now because he doesn't have the best car. My point is that's what the mode of passion really does. You're always comparing yourself with someone else. You always want to be better than someone else. And when someone else is better, you hope that he would please disappear so that nobody will look at him and instead look at me. If we have this mentality. And then the mode of ignorance is, in the mode of ignorance, we have different qualities manifest. Laziness. Person just wants to lazy around, doesn't want to use his mind, even has difficulty using his mind. Mind works very slowly. You explain something to him, he says, when you say it again, and then you explain it again, and still he's saying, I don't understand. You have to break it down. I mean, his mind is not sharp, not fast, it's not electrified, so to speak, like most of you have. Sharp working, good working minds, A students in the universities. It's a fact. There are many people, they just don't have it. Or due to when they're growing up, they lose something that they have. So therefore, the person also is not eager to work. He considers work a drudge. It's too much. Rather, he would like to steal something and not have to work. He gambles on the lottery, hoping that he's giving his last dollar away, hoping that he will win the $10 million or the $100 million lottery. This is a mentality of a person mode of ignorance. He likes to gamble. He likes to take drugs. Anything that will make him, he doesn't want to work for, he wants to get high, which is normal. Everybody should want to be blissful, but he doesn't want to work for it. He just wants a quick fix, take an injection, take a pill, you see, rub something here, and that's it. You could see even many people who were, before they had a lot of motive goodness, now this rage has taken on, especially in America. Many people are feeling disgusted even with their success. They feel depressed. They feel anxiety. They feel unhappy. So what do? They go to the pharmacy, go to the doctor, get a prescription for OxyContin or one of those morphine oxoid drugs, and then they take them, and then they feel good for a few minutes or a few hours maybe, and then finished, and now have to take another, and they become addicted. And these oxoids, they affect the brain. Over a period of time, a person will lose his good intelligence. And many do. After 5 years, 10 years of taking these, they can't think straight. It's impossible. The mind is just jumping all over the place, and they cannot hold a continuous, what you call coherent thought. A coherent is this leads to this, and this leads to this, and this leads to this. That we call that cohesiveness, where everything holds together. Like when you're building, you put one brick on, then another brick, and another brick, and then you have a whole side, you see. But in a person who's has problems, then he will put one brick on, and then he instead of putting a brick on, he will take some sand and put it on, or he will take some paper, because he can't remember that he put a brick on there. So I wanted to give a clear description of how the three modes of material nature work and how they enter. So the next thing that happens is, in order to create the different characters or the different forms of the material world, we have to have another person. So a new incarnation of Mahavishnu, he incarnates himself as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and he lays in the Garbhodak ocean, which is at the bottom of the material universe. And so Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, he's lying there in a half sleep, and a stem comes. It's a big, long stem, and all the universes somehow the planetary systems are in the stem. And then what happens is a lotus comes, and from the lotus, Lord Brahma appears. He has 4 heads. So Lord Brahma is there, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's confused. So he prays. He's alone. Can you think of yourself if you were Lord Brahma, and suddenly you find yourself on this lotus, and there's nobody around, nobody to talk to, and so he begins to ask, Lord, what should I do? What is my duty? What am I supposed to achieve? So then he hears a voice. Does everybody remember the words that he hears? Yes, tapa, tapa, tapa. And what does that mean? You perform austerity. You do meditation. You meditate on the Supreme Lord. And keep on meditating. That is his austerity. So to keep thinking of Krishna, and that will purify you. When you're fully purified, then you'll be given the secrets of how to create different types of beings, 8,400,000 species of beings, fish or aquatics, trees and plants. insects and snakes, reptiles, and we can have that down, please. Yeah, thank you. Insects, and also we have in the birds are created. He will also create so many different types of birds. And then there will also be human beings, 400,000 species of human beings. So Brahma's business is that, but each in each species is slightly different. For example, even human beings, there are 400,000 different human beings, you see, and they're in different planetary systems. Sometimes we see these pictures of aliens. You know, they have these different kind of like triangular heads. I don't know if that's it, with big eyes, you know, small, tiny mouths. I'm not sure whether there's any truth to any of that. But one thing is sure, they are different, especially in the lower planets. They all have, most of them have, like Patala, Talatala, all of those, they're mostly snake bodies. They are serpents. And they have jewels on their head, and they can speak. They have intelligence, not like the snakes here. All they can do is that's their language. But those snakes, they can speak, and we know that from the Mahabharata. We know that when Bhima he went down into that Patala, and he was there, and he saw all these snake people, and when he entered, they didn't know who he was, so they wanted to kill him immediately because Vasuki, he was in the back office, and they were guarding him. So what happens is that they immediately started to beat him. So he woke up. He was asleep because Duryodhana had poisoned him. So he woke up, and then he looked at them, and they were all trying to take their fangs. They were snakes, and they're biting him, you see. So they didn't know, though, that poison that they were putting in was the antidote to the poison that Duryodhana had given him. So therefore he woke up, and he saw what was going on. Finally, he woke up, and he was in full strength because all that poison was like an injection of some big vitamin or something. So he started to fight them, you know, and he was throwing them all over the place. The poor snakes, smashing them down and this and that. Well, finally, what happened was that the word went to Vasuki and also his assistant. And Vasuki came out, and he found out that this is Bhima, and the assistant happened to be the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of Bhima. We can't forget his name, you know, I can't remember. But anyway, he was a great-great-grandfather, and he recognized him because he has a higher powers. And so Vasuki said, no more fighting. The fighting should stop now. So Bhima, he's ready to fight Vasuki if he had to. He said, no, we are your friends. And here's your great-great-great-grandfather from your mother Kunti. And I'm also have some relation to you. So we come in peace. So he came to him, and they had a nice chat, nice conversation. So I won't go into that pastime so much, but it's very instructive because it is through that pastime that Bhima, he received a special potion, which he had enough power, enough strength was it 1,000 elephants? Was it 10,000 elephants? Yeah, he got the strength. He took this potion and went to sleep for 7 days and woke up on the 8th, and he had the strength that he could defeat just about anybody, just pure brute strength. So I don't know, I got onto that subject, but it's so fascinating that you can't resist telling about it. Anyway, he went back home, of course, and everything worked out very nicely for the Pandavas for that time. So, again, coming back now. So I was trying to illustrate the three modes of material nature and how they work and how we can tell just which mode we are in by virtue of the fact if we're too sleepy and yawning and don't want to work. You know what mode you're in. But that can be overcome. It can be overcome by doing things which are in the mode of pure goodness, by chanting Hare Krishna. You say, well, I don't feel like it. I'm so tired. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So you have to wake yourself up. You have to take a little effort, a little activation, so to speak. So get near somebody who's chanting forcefully, and from the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So if you get 3 or 4 of those around you, you will start chanting like that. And within half hour's time, the energies will start pouring into your body, which before you didn't have. So Lord Chaitanya mentioned very clearly that there are 5 kinds of devotional service that are most important, and one of them is chanting the holy name. Another is hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. A third is, and this is my point, association with devotees, especially advanced and senior devotees who have transcended and have gone above this mode of ignorance and even passion. So when you associate with them and you hear them and you talk to them, you absorb their types of modes. If they don't have mode of passion and mode of ignorance, and they have mostly sattva, bhav, then you will absorb that. And if they are pure devotees of the Lord, then you will start to absorb that. And what will happen is different types of thoughts and feelings and words will come to you, because now you are manifesting those specific and particular types of of modes. Ultimately, we have to come to the mode of pure goodness. Goodness is, in the material world, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a teacher, you want to do nice things, good things, helpful things, beneficial things. That is fine. But the unfortunate part about these are that although you're doing something good, you become a little proud. I've done this. I'm helping so many people. So many people are being benefited by my service, by my work, by my good efforts. So that makes a person proud, and people praise you, they honor you, they glorify you, you become distinguished, they put your name in the newspapers. So what happens is that you become a bit attached. You get attached to that glory. Because remember, we came into this world to be lords, to be gods. That's why we left the spiritual world. Originally, we were all Krishna-conscious living entities, and the result is that if some of us, not all, a very small percentage of those in the spiritual world, they decided that they wanted to taste what it's like, experience what it's like to be a Lord. What does it feel like to be Vishnu? What does it taste like? So in order, you can't be Vishnu in the spiritual world. There's only one Vishnu. There are no competitors. If you want to compete with him, then he made this world for you. So here you can be a Lord, you can be a father or a mother, and tell your child, hey, you go here. No, do it this way. Go across the street when the light is green. No, you must go to school. I don't want to. You must go to school. So you are the Lord of your child, your children, until he gets grown up, and then he becomes your Lord. Then he tells you what to do, and you're not strong enough to resist him. That's the way it works out. So everybody gets a chance to be Lord. You may be baby, helpless, feel worthless and useless, but as you grow up, you become stronger and better and more capable and more able. Anyways, the important point is that in the mode of goodness, as I said, you may want to come back to receive the pleasure of the applause, the pleasure of the congratulations, the pleasure of your glorification, because it makes you feel big and strong and great and wonderful. But that is illusion. That is not what we want. We want to transcend all that. It's an illusion. But we came here really to become a Lord, and that's an illusion. No one can be God except God. God alone, Krishna alone can be God. And therefore, once we recognize that he is omnipresent, he is omniscient, he is omnipotent, only he can be that, and all I can ever be is a really helpless living being, and the only way I get to be anything is by his grace, by his mercy, by his blessings. If I get no blessings, I'm like a stone. What can you do without the blessings? Nothing. That's why when the holy man comes, you always come, try to touch his feet, get his hand on your head, so that the blessings which flow through the hands, they flow through the feet, and they flow through the eyes, and they flow through the smile. So everybody always liked when Prabhupada would smile, because they always feel that they're being enveloped, or they're being enveloped by his loving smile, and that they were being blessed with good favor, with happiness, and with excellent future.
like that, and it's true. Therefore, the important point was that if you keep coming back to this material world, you don't ever get back to where you originally came from. So what is the point of just being in the mode of goodness if your goodness keeps you coming back because you're very much attached to the pleasure, to the applause, to the congratulations, to the honor, the distinction? You have 4 PhDs, you have big trophies, you have 8 medals from the Olympics. What are you going to do with all that? It all adds up to one big zero. And what do you want? You keep hearing in your head the sound of the crowd. When you are on the football field and you made that big touchdown, and they're roaring. You can't get it out of your head, and it makes you feel like, yes, I'm so important, I'm so valuable, I'm so necessary, I'm so needed, the world can't live without me. Illusion. You can die and the world wouldn't care one bit. It goes on because the world needs Krishna, not you. But it can need you by virtue of Krishna's blessings. If Krishna gives you his blessings and you become important and valuable and useful, then yes, then you are very... But no one should think that is because of my effort, my endeavor. It comes by Krishna's mercy. And we are made of his mercy. And once we start thinking we are made of our own endeavor, we're in big time trouble. Big, big trouble. Okay? So, but once we understand that no matter how great, how big, how grand, how wonderful I am nothing next to Krishna. I always try to, at least once a day, if not more, say this prayer: my dear Lord, I am nothing except what you make me. I have nothing except what you give me. I know nothing except what you teach me. I do nothing except what you enable me. And I want nothing except pure love of God through pure devotional service, for then I will have everything and even more. What is that more? Eternal world. Everything you need for this world, Krishna will supply, and he will give you the extra to go back home, back to Godhead. You see, if we always give the credit to Krishna, assign the credit, whatever I'm doing, my great brain power, my great A's on my examinations, all by Krishna's grace. Some people are so proud they go in to take examination, they know it all, and they sit down. Suddenly they draw blanks. They can't remember the answer, because Krishna, he gives memory and he takes it away. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So he gives them forgetfulness, and they're sitting there. They had good grades, now they can't remember. And then suddenly, if they have some spirituality, they start praying, because if they don't pass the examination, then they can't get either to the university, or they can't get that job, or so many different things. So we are dependent upon Krishna, and Krishna will deliver. That is his nature. He will deliver to those who are genuinely and seriously and sincerely serving him and appreciating him, grateful to him. Okay? So I think I forgot to do one prayer, and I always do it, and please give me just a few moments. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmaditam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. It's very important that as I was speaking, I was remembering that whatever I'm saying, if it has any benefit or any meaning or value, it is all coming from Srila Prabhupada's grace upon me. So that I sort of remember, I forgot to thank him through this prayer. So that is why it is good to pray to the great personalities like Srila Prabhupada. Oh, that's me. No, it's my body, not me. Me is hidden inside here. And next to me is the 8 or 6 inch super soul, which is what I want to finish on the subject. Anyways, very good. I'm glad I can't see it clearly, because otherwise I'm so in love with myself that I would just start looking this way. So thank you very much for keeping it in a very vague and gossamer grayish look. It's very reassuring, and it allows me to stay on track. Hare Krishna. So, continuing. So, we've talked about Karanadakashayi Vishnu, Garbhotakashayi Vishnu, and now after Lord Brahma is on the lotus for many thousands of years, finally he has become purified so that he can now receive the knowledge of how to create beings. Now we know from our science that every living being is slightly different from other beings, all even human beings. Your head is one way, and another person's head is rounder, another person's ears are up, another's are sticking out a little this way. That comes from what they call DNA, which gives us our special, diverse characteristics. So Lord Brahma they are codes. The persons who deal in the what do they call the thank you, the genes or the genetics. They have different codes, and these different codes go to form different, like a nose, which would be one way, or the code is slightly different. Nose may be long, may be short, may be bent, maybe like you see in the Negroid races of Africa, the nose is very spread out. That's from the DNA code that they have. But if for example, if a Negroid person or black person marries with a white person, and then what happens, you have a mixture of different genes, and the person who is born from them may become, that genetic factor may disappear, and the new factor of the white may take what they call predominance, you see. Therefore, Lord Brahma, he's got a lot in his head. He couldn't do it with one head. He needed 4 heads to know all those codes. Can you imagine carrying for 8,400,000 species? How to make a flounder fish, how to make a shark, and how to make a whale, and how to make a catfish. Everyone is different, and every one of them is part of the karmic reaction of persons who have been living in the material world and violated the laws of God. And so when they violate it incessantly and repeatedly, they have to get a body which will be suitable for them. So some get a lion, they eat so much meat, they're eating meat 3 times a day, and they go out and they kill animals even unnecessarily. They don't want cereals, they don't want fruits, they just want to kill. So then they get a tiger body, you get a lion body. It's perfectly suitable. And that's what they get. So they just, and those who are the deer that they eat, or the zebras that they eat, they also get a karma. Their karma is that in the previous life, they were hunters, and they were killing many deer, and now they have to get the karmic reaction. What does it feel like to be killed by you shooting arrows and killing them unnecessarily? So the result is that you now get eaten by the tiger, and you feel their pain, and it goes into the subconscious. And once it goes into the subconscious, in one sense, you may not remember the incident, but the remembrance is there that it was painful. And when you see it, you go, oh, like that. Many times people will see a picture of a tiger attacking a doe or a buck or a deer or an antelope, and he goes, oh my God. But why is he doing that? Because somewhere in the memory he remembers how painful it is, and he's responding accordingly, you see. And that person no longer wants to shoot arrows because he knows the pain that the creature has gone through. Okay? So therefore, Lord Brahma plays a very important part in the development of so many different creatures, so many different characters. It depends, the DNA or the genetics will determine whether your intelligence, it will determine which modes of nature are going to be acting upon you. It determines the color of your hair, the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, the kind of teeth you will have, whether you will have good health, bad health, the kind of attraction you will have to foods. Certain foods give us body weight, make us heavy. Certain foods keep us slim. So many things in this genetic code. Many, many. So the point is this: a person who has been living a very spiritual life and observing austerities, you see, so this person, as a result, his next birth in this world will be a one in which he may have good features, he may have good teeth and good eyesight, because he has earned this by doing pious and austere activities in his previous lifetime. Therefore, some of you are just in that category. You see, why in the category? Because you have interest in this subject matter. How few people in the world have any interest in this? You talk to me about God. Well, what is God? He's up there doing his thing. He has his life. I have my life. What do I need him for? That is the kind of answer you get from these people. I don't need God. What do I need God? I don't pray to God, and I'm still able to do things. So you tell them that's due to God's mercy. What mercy? I don't see any mercy. They're atheistic. So then one day the person comes down with a big headache, and he's taking, Tylenol and taking another kind of aspirin, and still nothing is helping him. The only way these people get changed is when they have illnesses that the doctor cannot even cure. In fact, sometimes the doctor even makes it worse. He gives you some pain, and you feel it's going to benefit you. The headache is increased. So Krishna is doing that to bring this person back to the truth, so that he'll understand that just depending upon man is not good enough to be able to live in a healthy, happy, sturdy, balanced fashion. You need God, and if you don't have God, you're in very bad shape. Okay, so we have now the next is that here's the main point of today's talk. So human beings, as I said, they committed in previous lifetimes and previous kalpas many different activities which were not good, and then some created some good things, and in the mode of goodness. And so these people need to be guided, they need to be directed, they need to be purified, they need to be strengthened, they need to be spiritualized. And that's why people like Srila Prabhupada, they come here to help us to get back on the path so that we can eventually go back home, back to Godhead. So next is, how does that happen? Well, it happens again, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. He again incarnates into another form called Kshiradakashayi Vishnu. Okay? Kshira, he lives on the ocean of milk. Kshira is milk, you see. And so it's a nice place to live, because if you get thirsty, you just put your head in the water, in the milk, and you have plenty to drink. You don't get hungry there. It's a good place to live. I never thought of it that way, but yeah. And sometimes the demigods, they go to this ocean of milk to pray to the Lord. In fact, when at the beginning of the in the 10th canto, poor Bhumi, she was so much in suffering and lamentation that all the demons were all over the place, and she's the earth mother, and there's nothing worse to the earth mother when people are lying and cheating and stealing and killing and murdering. So she feels the pain of all of these adverse in the sense that the people are violating God's laws. So she is so in pain, and she's praying to Brahma, please, we need to have a savior. We need to have the Lord has to come and get rid of all these people. So Brahma says, okay, come with me, and I'll have all the other demigods. We'll go together to the ocean of milk. So they go into the bank of the ocean, and there's an island out there called Shvetadrip, and the Lord is lying on the ocean, and nobody gets to actually talk to the Lord. That is a very unique and very unusual to be able to speak to Krishna. Like Narad Muni, he can go and speak to Krishna because he's so pure. But Brahma is also pure, but not as pure as Narad Muni, you see. So Brahma is there, and therefore he comes there and he's praying, "Oh Lord, the earth is populated by so many demons, so many in the form of murderers and thieves and rogues, rascals, and people who are they steal and they commit adultery. They do all sorts of things which are improper, going against your laws, your rules. So we need you to set things right. So as we know that Krishna, when he comes and he speaks to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend to this world to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants and to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself come millennium after millennium. So therefore, the Lord reassures Brahma. Brahma gets a transmission in the heart. That's how he communicates with the Supreme Lord. So he hears this transmission. Because the Lord knows, he's omniscient. He knows why the demigods have come. And he said, I will be coming very soon. And I want you demigods, you should take birth in the family of the Yadu dynasty. And I will be born in the Yadu dynasty. And I will come and help this world